Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about One Piece chapter 940, and honestly I thought it started a little slow, but then it just kept ramping up, and I thought overall it was a pretty good chapter. When I first started reading through it and got to the end, I thought, hey, you know what, I've got some very specific plot points that I want to cover, and I'm going to have pretty precise things to talk about. Then I went over it again before coming and recording this, and I realized that there was a bunch more little details that I wanted to kind of come over. So now my list is much longer. Either way, let's get to it. Yeah, there's a lot in this chapter. So first of all, Tonoyasu, the giant-headed smiley guy, is in fact Toko's dad. And he's talking to Kanjuro and Shinobu and all the others and talking about the rebellion, blah, 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 blah. And then he leaves. And Robin and Frankie and Sanji are like, yo, so you guys knew this guy? What's his deal? And Kanjuro and Shinobu are like, we didn't know him. He just kind of started talking. We don't know anything about this. So they were all freaked out for a moment until this old lady tells them about how Tonoyasu's just a real chill dude. Toko went to the capital to make money, or they say she was sold off. But apparently she's making some money, I guess. But either way, she's sending the money that she's earning from the capital and her work with the Komurasaki, and sending it to him and helping him out. But then he doesn't want to feel like he's just collecting and hoarding money, so he's kind of spreading the wealth a bit. He's helping the people around him with food and water and all kinds of stuff. And he's doing some real good. I really like him and Toko. So I'm glad to see that she, first of all, has a father, a family, and that he's real chill. I was afraid that it was going to turn out like, oh, he was an evil dude even though he's smiley. No, he's a real cool dude. And I'm sure that Oda won't make him evil later on. Now, before we get away from that little spot with Tonoyasu's town, I just want to kind of mention, because I don't know whether they'll become important later on or not, but there's three brothers, I think. I think they're brothers, at the very least. If they're not, then they have really weird sounding names. They're very, very similar sounding names. But it's, I believe, Bungo, Bingo, and Bongo. And the three of them are basically just like extortionists. One sets fire to houses and buildings in general. The other is a construction worker, so he like gouges people for rebuilding the things. And the final one's an undertaker and a priest, so like if anything kind of happens afterwards, the fires, he kind of takes care of those people, which is really, really shady and terrible. I don't know whether they'll come back up again. They were in the capital city, kind of fawning over Komurasaki, and apparently she, like, gouged them out of all their money. So clearly she was trying to maybe exactly help some people by taking the money from the people that were robbing them in the first place. So yeah, I mean, Hiyori's pretty cool, so that seems like about right. But now they're kind of displaced, and they're in this, like, dirt poor town, acting like a bunch of jerks. I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever see them again, but they did point them out, so I figured I'd bring it up. Now, the real meat of this chapter is Luffy training and him just hanging out with Hyo. In this case, he's still training to figure out how to use this special kind of hockey with Hyo on his back, and he is just basically going to town on everybody in the ring. Madillo Man is just being his punching bag, essentially. All the other people around him are like, Madillo Man, come on, don't let him just do this to you. He has no choice. Luffy's getting madder and madder himself because he can't just figure it out. And we learn a couple of things from this. So it turns out that hockey, obviously we knew that it was not called hockey in Wano, but we now know what it's actually called in Wano, and it's a ryuo, and it apparently means flowing cherry blossoms. And I'm wondering if that'll come into play later on or what. But it's a fun and kind of a pretty name, honestly, and fitting for the Wano country. Either way, Luffy's not getting it. He's got old man Hyo just basically telling him like some inspiring things on his back and just trying to give him some direction on how to master this or how to draw it out in the first place. And it sounds like it's just like you got to basically just take all the hockey that you would use on your, like, the parts of your body that you would use, and then just force it out and take all the haki that like is welling up inside body parts that you don't even use too, and help and just force it out in a specific direction. And honestly, now that I think about it, it kind of reminds me of Conqueror's Haki in a sense. So it might be more a condensed version of Conqueror's Haki, and meant for more attacks rather than just knocking people out, which is an interesting idea. So Luffy's training, and as he's like just about to continue fighting, it turns out that it's nighttime, and everybody basically goes home. It lights out, everybody has to go back to their cells or just kind of disperse in general, and the fighting's over for now, and which Luffy's a little ashamed of this. He's a little angry, and also before I move on, I do want to say, Queen, he's just basically like enjoying this entire thing. He was having fun watching Luffy just beat the crap out of all of his men, and in a way that's kind of funny to me. Even though he's probably a real bastard and evil, he's kind of got a like jovial, crazy side to him, and it's kind of funny that he just like kind of just chilling. He's just doing his thing. I don't know. Anyways, so lights out, everybody kind of disperses. Old Man Hyo and Luffy are just kind of chit-chatting in the ring still as the guards are around, and he starts to ask why Luffy is even fighting Kaido. What's his deal? And Luffy's like, wait a second, I can't talk about this in front of other people. And he uses Conqueror's Haki, knocks out all the guards, and basically just tells him his whole story about how the 4 emperors, Luffy wants to be the king of the pirates, and he basically just takes out, he needs to take out all the emperors to become the king of the pirates. Old Man Hyo's not exactly familiar with these, like titles and whatever, but he does kind of recognize the king of the pirate part, and he says, oh, like, you mean like Roger? And that kind of spurs them into the next part where it's like, Luffy is like, yeah, you know Roger? I guess Kinemon did say something about this, him showing up on Wano. And that kind of, like, sets off a bell in Hyo's mind is like, wait a second. Kinemon, 20 years ago, Kinemon, you know Kinemon? And that's when, okay, I didn't even notice this in the first panel when it's starting to kind of well up. Caribou shows up with Raizo in his stomach, and he's like, well, Raizo specifically anyways, is like, hey, I can explain this. That's crazy. So Caribou's in the story still. I'm kind of over Caribou. I think he's a real idiot, and I'm kind of done with him. I don't know. We'll see if he can actually be useful later on. I'm not convinced. Either way, Raizo basically explains their whole situation to Old Man Hyo, and yeah. Meanwhile, you have Caribou just chit-chatting basically with Luffy, and Luffy's just like berating him and calling him an idiot, and he's just like, yeah, I've turned over a new leaf. I'm not like that anymore. I just want to go home. Will you give me a ride home, please? And Luffy at first kind of like seems a little miffed, but then he says, yeah, sure, whatever. Caribou's really surprised at first, but then takes it and just like doesn't look a gift horse in the mouth. However, I have a feeling that he's gonna be very disappointed. I don't think Luffy's ever gonna take him home. I don't think anything's gonna happen with that, and it's possible that Caribou will stab him in the back, or at least, well, try anyways. He'll probably get his butt kicked. Either way, I'm not interested in Caribou at all. I'm sure he won't be super important. Now that I've said that, he will be incredibly important, and I'll be very disappointed. Not disappointed, just be a little annoyed. I'm over him. Whatever, I've already said that. Anyways, as they're all talking, they're talking about like, okay, well, the plan is kind of getting messed up here, and they gotta get Luffy and Old Man Hyo out. But wait a second. The plan's getting messed up. We don't have much time left before the invasion of Onigashima. Old Man Hyo brings up the point, yo, you have an army right here. You have an army in this entire prison. There's not only just this segment with a bunch of people, but then there's also other segments throughout the prison and the excavation camps that, like, really don't like Orochi and Kaido. If Old Man Hyo can get in contact with the other Yakuza members that are in the camps, they could basically set up a whole riot and then have an army to fight Kaido and Orochi. And this is like, why didn't they think of this before? Of course, all of Orochi and Kaido's enemies would be in the, like, prisons. Why wouldn't they try to somehow get some of them out, or at least think of a plan to, I don't even know. In any event, they now have basically an army of their own to come into this. And especially now that they have a bunch of people getting rounded up in the capital city, and all the people that are spread across Wano are starting to get kind of in a mess. Luffy has now been given an opportunity to round up an entire army of people to attack Kaido and Orochi, which is really cool. So just when they think, well, our army is basically just being destroyed here, and before it even begins, Luffy shows up with a giant new army, and everybody's good to go. The final page/panel, I don't remember whether it's just a single panel or not. Either way, the final bit is Chopper and Big Mom. They have arrived in Udon. Big Mom's still talking about how she's hungry and tired and blah, 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 blah. And I have a feeling that there's some really messed up stuff that's going to happen. And either she's going to see Luffy and suddenly just go berserk, or maybe she'll help Luffy and eventually just, like, they'll get close or something. I cannot see a timeline in this story where Luffy doesn't see her, freak out, and just immediately start attacking, and then that set her off, and then suddenly she either goes on a eating frenzy, whether she knows it or not, or gets her memories back and then gets really pissed off. So we shall see how that goes. I wonder how many more chapters we have to go before she arrives near at least the prison. But they've been traveling for a very long time, and it's about time they get to where they need to be. Anyways, that's the entire chapter. I thought it started very slowly at first they were just talking to Toneyasu, and I thought it was just kind of boring. I honestly didn't think he'd be as important as he kind of is. But hey, looks can be deceiving. I like him a lot. Now that I know a bit more about his background, I like him a lot. I like that Luffy is going to have brand new power by the end of this whole prison segment of him being locked up, and he's going to have a new army, so that's going to be awesome. I'm just really excited to see where things go from here. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments section, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like. I would greatly appreciate it. Lets me know that you guys are enjoying these videos. And if you want to see more from me, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell. That way you'll get all kinds of notifications when I upload. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope that you have an awesome day. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.